Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Please let's be seated, and please let's sit down as close to the front as possible. You know, we have this conversation every seminar. Those who are coming in should not be allowed to distract us. So please, if there is an empty seat in front of you, move forward. Let's take a minute to quickly do that. If there's an empty seat in front of you, please move forward. Thank you. Please move forward. Thank you. Thank you very much. So today we have come again. We come once a month to rub minds with millionaires like ourselves. We come to meet with people who have what we have in mind. But if you are really excited, then you had better be on the lookout, because there are only 20 seats at the table. Only 20 people would be able to attend the breakfast meeting. It's a paid breakfast meeting, but the sum is small compared to the benefits. To get a seat at the table, you pay the sum of 20,000 naira, but you will come with that challenge you need an answer to. Now, the session that is holding in the month of July is the first of a series. Now, we used to have those breakfast meetings before, but the one that is happening in July here is the first in the series, and I can assure you to be in attendance, all the facilitators from the 3 campuses will be sitting down to answer your question. So, it is first come, first serve. Please, let's be on the lookout. Let's prepare for it. As a matter of fact, for me, let's look through our businesses and look at the knotty issues and find the umbrella challenge that when you have a solution to it, it will just catapult your business to the next level. We are saying this so that those of us who come early, those of us who come consistently, those of us who are thirsty for what them is bringing to us. So having made that announcement, let's go straight to the business of the day. And today we are talking about the culture of excellence in business. And naturally, the first thing you want to start thinking about when you hear the topic is, what can I expect from this session today? Well, like we've always said, if your business is going to be big, if your business is going to make impact, if your business is going to make money, then you cannot be the only person in that business. You have to have other people that are pursuing the vision with you. And that's why the objective of this session is to talk to us, to help us understand how we can build an effective team with individual members that would have useful skills and mindsets that would allow them to focus on getting the results we want. Excellent results on a consistent basis. You know, what you are known for, what you are good at, is not what you did once and then never did again. It is what you did once, you did the next day, you did the day after. What you deliver consistently, that is what makes you excellent. So if you get excellent results once a week, you are not excellent. If you meet your target one month out of 12, then you're not there. You can only be considered excellent if you are excellent all the time. So what we are doing today is equipping us with knowledge that would help us guide our team, especially when we're not doing it alone, guide our team into delivering excellent results on a consistent basis. But for the purpose of clarification, I would say, what is culture? What is excellence? So who remembers the definition of culture from social studies? A way of life, exactly. So that's the very first thing that comes to your mind. Culture is a way of life. Now, if it's a way of life, it's not something you learned and then you drop. If it is a culture, that means you do it all the time, like I already said. And then excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. And there is really nothing that somebody is doing that has not been done before. There is nothing new under the sun. So, what is going to stand you out as a business, even as a person, is what you can do extremely well, what you can do above average. And so, creating a culture of excellence is not something we have a choice about, because people would always have a choice of who they will go to, except you have that thing that you do, for which you are known, for which you can be called extremely good. So, the very first place that building an excellent team starts from is being an excellent person, being an excellent leader. And you cannot lead without a vision. You cannot lead without a picture of something you are trying to create. You cannot even assemble a team unless you have something, a purpose you want them to help you execute. So, culture of excellence, creating it, maintaining it, teaching it, perpetuating it in your business starts with you being an excellent leader. And what is the first thing you do as an excellent leader? You have an excellent picture of the future you are pursuing in your mind. The student that does not know the grade he wants to achieve after his studies will score average. I say this because I had to make a switch in my university days, and I know how that affected me. It's really, really damaged my academic journey. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I was in medical school when I entered university. I entered medical school. I know you have heard that I'm a lawyer, and you're wondering what's the relationship between medicine. I wasn't studying medicine, I was studying dentistry, but we were in the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences together. So I got into school to study dentistry. I actually studied dentistry for 2 years. And in dentistry, the pass mark is 50. And the accolades they give the person that scored 50, and the accolades they give the person that scored 75 is exactly the same. As a matter of fact, if you score 50 in biochemistry, you're already a superstar. Because, passing itself is a struggle in the first place. So, from my medical background, I went to the University of Ibadan, just in case you are trying to locate me with the details I'm sharing. So, I was gunning for 50. And I seemed to have a balance. I had a cap on it. I would get to 50 and I'll become a superstar because half the class failed. They say things like, if you don't read for 6 hours a day, you can't pass in medicine, So once I can pass, I feel on top of the world. And then after my 200 level in dentistry, I switched to 200 level in law. And something happened. I started doing the same thing. I started going for 50. You know that when you meet your medical doctor, it doesn't matter whether he finished summa cum laude, his first class, as long as he can graduate, he can treat you. But in law, especially if you are not practicing law, if you are trying to get a job, if you don't have 2-1, you are already, they will remove your CV from the people they want to interview. The sum total is 75. I will land in the area of 50. Well, I just realized that marking there was subjective. And so what should have changed when the faculty changed was my perception of what I needed to do to get where I needed to go. However, many of us approach life and business in the same way. We just to start a business and make money. We don't define the results we want, just getting by. It took me a long time to find out. By the time I was finding out, repairing the bad grades became a peculiar challenge. So the first thing anybody that wants to achieve anything in life should do is sit down with what you want to achieve. There's the neighborhood shop and somebody who has one set of everything for you to buy. And then there's the next person that has a supermarket on the street. And then there's the next person, like Foodco. I understand Foodco is in Abeokuta now, right? There's a Foodco that is in Abeokuta, that is in Lagos, that is in Ibadan. And they are having like 3-4 outlets. It's still a supermarket. It's still what the Aboki is doing that they are doing. And then there's Amazon. Is it not a supermarket? So before you start, define, what do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? The truth is, the idea of success that Aboki has decided that his market is not his street. His market is not his neighborhood. His market is not his city. His market is every single person that has access to the internet. You recall that in December, when we were setting goals and we were saying that we should live for 120 years, there was a question we asked ourselves. Deduct your age from 120. What is left? Now think about it. What is it that you want to achieve that you cannot achieve in what is left? So if you want to be the next Amazon, is it possible that you have 60, 70 years left and you will not be able to do it? So if you can, what would you dare to do? If everything was perfect, what would you aspire for? That is where the culture of excellence starts from. In your mind, in your crafting of the dreams you want to pursue, in your deciding who you want to serve. And that's why it always starts with why. Why do you even want to be big? Why do you do what you do? Why do you want to start a business? When you now understand the why, you now create this vision of the business you want to start. Now, I must say that excellent businesses exist to solve a problem. I say it all the time. Don't just start a business along the line of your passion. Start a business that solves a problem for people. Don't just solve a problem for people. Solve a problem that they will be willing to pay you for. The person that is solving the problem of shade in rain, that's umbrellas, he has no business thinking that his business is round the clock, because it's only in the rainy season that he has a viable business. So he had better have another business for the dry season. But then he knows his customers. His customers are the people that are walking in the rain. The people that are staying in their house, they are not his customers. But you need to start by defining your vision like that. Who are those you want to serve? What is the problem you want to solve for them? How much, knowing the kind of people, because there are some people that do not have to go in the rain at all. They're in their car. If they need to come out of the car, they are coming out of the car at the bank. The gate man is holding an umbrella for them. You understand? So they might not think it's important to have an umbrella. Worst case scenario, they put one in the car. They are not going to be repeat customers that are buying plenty. So all these things go into your crafting of your vision. Do you want to be the only person that does what you do? Then how do you want to craft that business? To make vision, we are not limiting you to what you want to do today, tomorrow, next year. You should be able to tell where you want to take your business to in 50 years. Talking about succession planning, we do it a lot in the academy. What do you want this business to be for your children? I do believe that these days, what we leave for posterity is not houses again. Because the houses we built, we are renting it out. The children have relocated. They are not even coming back to live in those houses. But when you have a viable business that they don't even need to know how to work in, to work on, you'll be surprised. If the money they are making in a Nigerian business is more than they can make from any job they have outside the country, they will come back to manage your business. So don't limit yourself to you when you are thinking about the size and the capacity you want to build into your business. When you now create this vision of this fantastic thing you want to do with your life, with your resources, with your business, it now becomes your responsibility to assemble a team that can make that vision happen. And that is why for every entrepreneur, recruitment, hiring, firing, designing roles, assigning roles, getting the right people to do the right things will never be a second place assignment. Make that vision possible or make it impossible for you to get it. However, to make it possible, you must not only create that vision, you must make sure you communicate it clearly to the people you are bringing to execute it. And of course, after communicating it, the same way we do when we're talking about the rules of communication, active listening and all, you don't just communicate it to them. You have to be sure that they understand the vision you are communicating. Because if they do not understand the vision and they think that you are trying to do a street shop while you are trying to deliver goods to them in America, you would have cross purposes. They will not be able to execute the vision the way you want it to be executed. So no, don't just dream the dream. Share the dream in a way they would understand and keep testing their understanding of the vision. You can see that for those in academy suits, every time they come into this room, whether they want to remember the vision or not, is displayed boldly somewhere. So every time they look up, they remember, oh, this is what we're trying to be. And then they add a spring to their steps. They change their ideas, their mentality. They know the vision they are pursuing. This is the same way you must make sure that the people on your team do not get lost in daily activities. You must make sure that they know exactly what the business is about. And not only do they know that they buy into the vision. You know that when you are discussing things with people and you tell them what they want to do, and their response to what you are saying is, amen. They don't have faith in that vision. They don't think it is possible. If they don't think it is possible, they will not reach for it. Same thing with goals. When we set goals for our staff and we tell them, I want you to do this between so and so, I want you to bring in this number of customers. And you can see from their reaction that their reaction is, where will I get those kind of customers? They're not likely to hit that target because they don't even believe in it in the first place. So it is important for you as a visionary leader to make sure that whatever it is you are sharing with your people, they understand it and they believe it is possible. They believe in the vision. When you have a vision and you believe in it, and the person that is working with you does not believe in it, what do you have? You have division. When you have division, that automatically leads to division because both of you are not working towards the same goal. And if we say a culture of excellence is cultivated by getting it right each time and every time, you can't get it right if the things you are working towards are different. So when you have crafted your vision, set goals. I'd already started talking about goals. Set goals for the individual members of your team. Let everybody know that, okay, this is where we are going. How can we get there? You have this role to play, and this is what I expect you to contribute to our results. Divide it amongst them. Monitor the goals you are setting. Put timelines. We've severally talked about how to set SMART goals. Put timelines. Make them write it down. Any goal that is not written down is a wish. Write down the goal. Craft a plan to achieve it. And then monitor implementation with daily to-do lists. For some businesses, you might not do it. But in the businesses I run, the heads of the organizations every day write down their daily to-do lists, the activities they would undertake that day that will lead them to the achievement of the goals of the organization on that day. If every member of the organization is writing out what they are doing per day to get the goals, to get the vision, to reach the dream you have painted towards them, whether you like it or not, automatically there's a focus on achievement. People cannot get distracted by the daily happenings. You know, especially those in the catering industry, they get distracted by cooking, that they forget that they did not call the customers that will come and buy what they are cooking. You know, and then after a while, when they realize the food is wasting, they now start thinking, okay, so who can I recruit to be getting customers? That's because we did not put focus on the different things, the different elements of the things we need to do to get our results. So set the goals, write them down, visualize their achievements. You know, we keep saying that the feeling is the secret. Visualize the achievements of the goals and get your people to do the same thing. Because what they can see, what they can feel, what they believe is possible will come closer towards them. And that is why you can't leave them after giving them the goals and giving them the vision. Whatever goals you are setting for yourself and for your people has to be big enough to inspire you. You know, a lot of the time we get angry, especially with our Hausa counterparts, because they are satisfied with daily bread. Especially the Abokis that have a shop. They are not pursuing customers. If you come and they say, you want this, they don't have. You know, somehow, because of culture, you know, we're talking about the culture of excellence. Because of culture, their attitude to business is so different from that of an Igbo man. You call an Igbo man and say, I want, he doesn't even know what you finish the sentence with. We have. The answer is always we have. The Aboki, I don't have. The one he has, even though the price has changed, he will sell it to you the price he bought it. It's a cultural influence on how business is run. But the Igbo man, no matter what he's selling, will always say he has. And then find a way to make sure that he can get it for you. Those people are motivated by the sales targets they are giving themselves. And so they sell even what they don't have yet by going to acquire it from somewhere else. So your own dream has to be such that it will make you get up and want to pursue it. And that's why you start with why. What is it that you're trying to achieve with what you're doing? Keep it in front of your face. But don't just do that for yourself. Do that for your people. You know, many of us have people that work in our teams that we don't really know what they want for their lives. And that is why in Academy Suites, Ibadan Central, Tolu Medical Center, one of our major interview questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And why do we ask this question? Because we want to marry your passion for your life, your purpose for your life, with the purpose of the business. There has to be an intersection between what you do now and what you want to do in your future. And so somehow at the point of motivating our employees, we must be able to trace for them purpose in what they are doing now, a bridge between what they are doing now and what they want in their future. That is how the work they do with you can be used to inspire and motivate them to achieve the results they want to achieve. So the person that is coming and feels like it's just to eat and sleep that they are coming, one day they will wake up and say, what are we even doing there? I'm not sure. But the person that is coming, that you have helped to create a savings target because the person's goal is to start a business in, say, 6-7 years, and you are helping them achieve their own goal, learn how to do what they want to do in the future, and every time you're having conversations with them, you are pointing to the fact that, you know, you said you wanted to do, this thing you are going to learn from this assignment is going to help you get there. It is motivation for that person. It is an inspiration for that person. And so there's no how you're going to assemble a team without monitoring personal motivation of your team members. Because the day they lose motivation and inspiration from what they do, they will begin to drop the quality of work they do. And then the culture of excellence you're trying to create, which should be in every activity, begins to get missing in some activity until you just discover that they are not pursuing the vision like they should. And you know the way motivation is. That's why I like seminars like the ones we do at 110. You can write down action points. Have you listened to motivational speakers before? You aspire to perspire and you defire. And then everybody says, hey, and you get home and you're thinking, okay, so what happened? What you got was an emotional high. You did not get to do. Unfortunately, you cannot gather to listen to motivational speaker every day in your business. But your staff gather every day and they need motivation. So you need to provide that motivation for them. Otherwise, you will come once a month, we will do general meeting, they will get emotional high, they will pursue, and then you just notice day 1, they hit the target, day 2, they fell short by 20%, day 3 is now 50%, because there's no consistent motivation. And so you must always let them know that the purpose of your business, of every business, is to create customers and to keep them. Because you are not going to be able to generate profit, you are not going to be able to make your business work, you are not going to be able to expand unless you have people who are patronizing you. And the whole point of having a culture of excellence is to make sure that when they come, they can't go. And so when they come, not only do you make them loyal customers that enjoy your business and want to stay, you must make them raving fans that become your evangelists and bring more people. And that's why this culture of excellence is important, because if you are doing it well, nobody will want to change who they are doing business with. So the question is, when your customers come, what do they want? They want a solution to their problems, and they want to feel good when they come. And that's why you'll be surprised. Some people invest in little, little things that make a world of difference. A comfortable chair for the person that is waiting, offering them water, allowing them charge their phone. Have you noticed? It helps some people. Because the fact that they can enter, they are just going to spend 10 minutes and you ask, can I charge my phone? And they go, sure, plug your phone. And then they engage you. Even you, if you plug your phone today and tomorrow, you buy something the day after. Because so that they will not chase me in a week. But you are doing it because they were nice to you. They felt good in your place of business. And then we started by saying that your business exists to solve a problem. So how well do you solve that problem is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is how good do they feel doing business with you. You'll be surprised that the reason somebody is going to one bank instead of the other one is how good they feel. Because all banks, is it not deposits and withdrawal? But the fact that some people offer you sweet, some people give you biro when you don't have biro. They will not tell you to go and buy outside. You know, those things, they create good feelings. You just feel better when you're around them. Some people will call you. I know why I like Sterling Bank. The very first time I did an internet transfer, that did not go. I was not yet aware that it did not go when they called me. That, sorry, you just did an internet transfer. That money did not go. We have not reversed it yet, but we will call you as soon as we reverse it. It had never happened to me before. What I'm used to is 3 days after, I'll go to the bank and they will say that I should print statements. And that is the ATM where, you know the way banks answer you now. Whatever it is your fault. But the bank called me before I even noticed that I had been debited. That you've been debited, we cannot reverse it immediately. We'll call you back as soon as it is. We will call you to tell you that your transaction was reversed. Who does that? You know, automatically you adjust yourself. Like, really? Okay, no problem. Let me see. As in, we're testing. I didn't even believe it until they called back to tell me I had been reversed. And all this was under 3 hours. Reverser, bank. You know, times you are going after them after a week. So that good feeling, you stay. And then somebody came to tell me, he doesn't know how money was withdrawn from his account. I should close my account in that bank. You know, I answered, okay. But I cannot. They're serving me well until we have a problem. I can't even use that person's experience to determine whether I'll do business with them. So how do your customers feel when they are buying from you? Don't forget, they have the option of buying from somebody else. So give them that solution, if the solution exists everywhere. But put a cherry on the cake. Help them feel good when they do business with you. But when you inspire your team, when they are well motivated, understand one thing. The job of bringing customers and the job of keeping customers is not just yours, it's theirs. Your own primary assignment is the vision, maintaining the vision, communicating the vision, and inspiring them. They are the foot soldiers that will bring the customers. You know, I already said, set targets for them. How many customers are you bringing this week? How many new customers would you bring this month? Involve them. Once they believe in the vision and they know that you are actually solving problems, it will be easier for them to do. So here, let's quickly look at the Pareto principle when it comes to employees. Who remembers the Pareto principle? We are in school. We have learned this one before. We are not teaching. You know, you don't teach ABC in primary 3 because they have learned ABC. Now we are just teaching multiplication, algebra. So we are in the algebra stage. Who wants to tell us what Pareto principle is? Maybe we should even be doing tests before we start class. That way we will know the people that are coming along and the people that are not. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it says that 80% of your products are being produced by 20% of your staff.
Yes, sir.
80% of the program are being produced by 20% of the staff.
Okay. 80% of your results are being achieved by the efforts of 20% of your staff. And so this breaks your staff into 2 categories. The 80% that are just getting by, and the 20% that are giving you the results you're looking for. So as a leader who is in charge of your vision, it is your responsibility to find out who is in the high-performing 20% and who is in the underperforming 80%. When you locate those people to get excellence in your business, it now becomes your responsibility to treat them in a way that would get you what you need. So what do you need to do? You need to create roles and set goals for high performers. It is good to set goals for all staff and say, everybody, this is your target. But after a while, you realize that some people just find it easier to meet the goal than other people. What do? Do you leave the general targets? No. For everybody that hits his targets, you increase the goal. And all of a sudden, you are raising the bar for some people, and in a matter of time, some people would float to the top, while you understand that some people still need help with achieving their targets or achieving their set goals. It might be a function of their understanding of the vision you communicated, because not everybody understands at the same rate. It might be a function of self-motivation, self-assuredness, their own confidence, but it is your own place to locate who does what, who knows what, who can do what, and help them achieve the best. So create the roles. Distinguish one person from the other. Make one a supervisor. Thank you. Make one a supervisor. Give one additional responsibility. Push them a little bit more. The same way they do in the Montessori educational system. When they see that you can cope with addition, they add multiplication. When they see that you can cope with multiplication, they put square root. You build up on it. And then you don't restrict them in boxes of time. When their capabilities have been set, when they become an expert in one thing, add something else so that they can continue to grow. So for the high performers, keep pushing them to do more. Apart from that, recognize them for what they're doing. In the world, the reward for hard work and good work is what? More work. So the person that is performing high will get more work. But the only way to ensure that more work does not lead to frustration that will make the person run from you is recognition. You'll be surprised at how far calling a meeting to announce that this is the best staff because the person did A, B, C, D, E will go for you. It actually makes that person loyal. Loyal in the fact that the person knows that you see the value that they contribute to the bottom line. Sometimes it's important for you to call such a person and say, you might think I do not know, but I'm aware that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number of people came from you and they spent this amount. As a matter of fact, at that point, it might be a good thing to reward the high performance by saying, you brought so and so amount of income, then I think I should give you maybe a 2%, a 3% recognition of what the income you brought. 2% of it, I'm giving it back to you aside from your salary in recognition of what you've done. The thing is, for everybody that works, who feels that there's something in it for them, the more work I do, the better work I do, the more money I bring in, something comes back to me, the more effort they put into it. And that is why commissions always work. And the commissions is not even a function of the size of the percentage. The fact that I will get something, the more I do, the more I get. That is why commissions work. People will always strive to do a little bit more when they are aware that they will get a little bit more if they put in more effort. It's also the idea, the logic behind pay for performance. There are some organizations where you get a certain percent of your salary as guaranteed, but there's a variable percentage that has to do with your performance. If you don't meet your targets, that variable percentage is gone. I know they do it a lot in insurance companies where they say they should bring in customers. Now, that variable percent is what makes your 100% salary. Some people are busy getting customers regularly because they don't want to lose the variable portion of their income. That's why it's important to reward high performance. Now, the truth is, if 20% of your people are delivering 80% of the results, don't ever get distracted by the my people syndrome. Your people are the people getting you the results you want. Focus on them. Groom them, grill them. But will you leave the remaining 80%? No. You will take it a step further by making sure that they can join the high performers. Because the more high performing people you have, the better your business runs. So what do you do to get the low performers to come up to the high performers? Train them. Recognize what is stopping them from being their best. Sometimes it could be personal. Sometimes it could be the way you communicate. You know, not everybody hears the same way. Not everybody understands at the same rate. So you need to find out what the problem is. If you have too many people, that's why you always break your teams into smaller bands. Let the supervisor locate what the issue is. This person is always dropping the ball. What is the problem? If it is something you can help them address it. If it is a personality issue, deploy them to an area where their strength will be useful. We always say that don't bother to say you want to train people to be nice. Hire nice people. Hire friendly people. So if you are saying customer acquisition, if they are nice and they're friendly and they're outgoing, they will naturally get more customers. If they're not getting customers, it might be the way they are communicating the value the business brings. It might just be that they don't know how to convince them. And then you train them on persuasion. And training, when we say training customers, people get scared. It's not that scary. What do you need to do? You need to find books on the areas in which they lack strength. You have to become a coach and a mentor to the members of your team. You have to hold their hand, help them become better, because the better they are, the better the results you will get out of them. So find books on the area in which they are lacking expertise. Pair them with a high performer that can carry them up, build them up, pull them up until they get better. Find videos on YouTube that teach the things that they are deficient at. Give them targets to watch it. Send them. Have discussions on them. Okay, so what did you learn from the video? Let's talk over it. And then over time, you will see them improve. However, we would always say in 110 Academy that when you run a business, you must breathe. What does it mean to breathe? You take in the good people, and when you find out that they are bad people, that cannot be helped. It's not everybody you can teach. It's not everybody that can learn. It's not even everybody that is ready to learn. You must know how to minimize your losses. When you find out that this person is not going to improve at the rate I want, or the person is costing me more to improve than to let go, you might have to let the person go. Dr. Abeokuta would always say that the day you are aware that you have an incompetent staff, but for some strange reason you do not sack that staff, you keep him in your books, you automatically become the incompetent person for your inability to let the person go. And of course, there are other considerations at times. For example, you know that that person is the only source of income in their family, and you keep them on because if you let them go, the person might not be able to survive. You are just incompetent. Under 10 Academy teaches you that you don't let your charity choose you. You choose your charity. And you will be the least charitable person in the world if you run your business as a charity. So the person you want to help, help them. Don't help them with your business, because you will never make enough money to help people if it is what you are supposed to be using to make more people. So do not do charity with the tools with which you build your future. Your business is to create the future you desire for you. So focus on building your business. And then the portion of your income that goes to charity, you can decide to help anybody with it. But that business is supposed to help create a future for you. You do not do charity with the tools with which you create life. So if you have tried to bring somebody up in terms of performance and they are not performing, please let them go. Mediocrity is not permitted in the workplace. We cannot create a culture of excellence if we have 10 average people and 2 high performers. We will not get there that way. So what we need to consistently do is assess and evaluate. I know I've shared it here before that when I was working in the bank, once every year, they send a message to all departmental heads, assess everybody in your department and grade them A to E. A being the most valuable asset in the department, E being the least valuable asset in the department in terms of human resources. And in March, the particular bank I worked in March of every year, they let everybody in the E category go. It does not matter what the issue is. The person you are working with thinks you are the least valuable person in the department. They will let you go and recruit a fresh set. Not because they are overstaffed, but because they need to consistently make sure that they have the best team they could possibly have working on their goals. You need to treat your team, scrutinize your team in a similar manner. The person that is contributing the least is contributing the least, no matter how skilled you seem to think he is. He might be a superstar elsewhere, but on your team, this person is contributing the least. If the person's performance cannot increase, let the person go. Another way to create a culture of excellence, both in your personal life and in your business, is Kaizen. Kaizen is a culture of good change. And it always starts with you asking yourself consistently, as a matter of fact, on a daily basis, what can I do better? What can I do differently? Kaizen is a Japanese word for good change. It's a culture of continuous improvement. It's one of our core values at Academy Suits. So you invite, you embrace, and you celebrate change. For everything somebody tells you about that you know will make a positive difference to your business, you celebrate it, you add it. You change the way you do business consistently such that people come and ask you, they are looking forward to what you're adding, the value you are adding to what you do. You know, it's a common saying that you cannot keep doing the same things the same way and expect a different result. They say it's only a madman that does that. So if you're saying you want to increase your sales, you want to increase your customer base, I don't know what targets you set for yourself. You want to increase your profit. You know you can increase sales without increasing profit. You want to increase your profit, you want to increase your customer base, you want to increase your reach, you want to increase your engagement, you just want to even increase the people that know you exist. What would you do differently? What value will you add to what you're doing that will make people want to come to you? What would you change about how you do what you do that will make you more attractive for other people? This is a question you must ask yourself consistently. Set aside a time for thinking about it. And when you find out what you can do differently, don't just find out, implement the changes. So you do not have any business maintaining. I know that in Nigeria, we are even struggling to maintain. When the government commissions a road, come back in 6 months. Maintenance zero. And that is why we must make sure that we are doing things differently. The change, they always say, starts with you. So in what you do, to get the results you seek, consistently change what you do. Improve how you perform. Improve your product. Improve your delivery channels. Improve your publicity. Improve your advertising. There are different elements to what you do. Consistently improve them. And then you just find out that by making a subtle change regularly and consistently, within a short period of time, people begin to feel like you're doing magic. Because this is not where they used to be. When we started this particular branch of Academy Suits, less than 2 years ago, we had 26 rooms. Now we have 90 what? And you come here every month, you just see something, they've added something, they've added something, they've added something, they've added something else. And then it keeps growing. And then you can serve more people. And then you can do other things. That is the same way you have to consistently improve in your business until you can serve more customers and become a bigger brand. It also means that you must create a culture of generating ideas. This is why I always like mastermind groups. I always like a meeting where I can sit down and tell people I'm trying to get more customers. What do you think I can do? And then I harvest the ideas of everybody in the room. And then I see which one can I implement. And I begin to try to take it off one by one. This, by force now, WhatsApp has given us Meta AI. Some of us have never asked Meta AI any question before. There's nothing wrong in going to Meta AI. This is the type of business I do. How can I generate more customers? And then you look through the answer it gives you. You know the answer is global, not Nigeria. If you add in Nigeria, it will give you Nigerian answers. And then you think of all these suggestions. What can I use to improve my business? It's a shortcut. It's a conversation with yourself and AI. And there are other, there's ChatGPT. There were so many others before they forced us to have, if you open Instagram, Meta AI is looking at you. If you open WhatsApp, Meta AI is begging you. You open Facebook, Meta AI is saying, ask me anything, I want to answer your questions. So it's an add-on that is a shortcut for brainstorming. So if you want to brainstorm in, improvement ideas, then ask Meta AI. You'll be shocked. You would hear things that you did not think you could do. And then you try it out, and then there's an improvement. So don't just create a culture of generating the ideas. That's what we're saying. Create a culture of implementing them. The next thing to get a culture of excellence in your place of business is synergy. And what is synergy? Synergy is when people come together to get a result that is bigger than what they could have gotten individually. So if each person can get 2, and then you bring 3 people together that can get 2 each and you get 10, you know that's synergy. It's not a sum total. If you do sum total, you'd have gotten 6. But synergy is when they are able to achieve 10 instead of 6. And how do you do this? You create the team by leveraging on the different competencies of the different people. So if everybody is average on sales, everybody is average on production, everybody is average on management, you probably get a 6 because all of us are average. But when you have somebody who can produce a higher level than everybody else, and you put the person in charge of production, and you have somebody who can sell more than everybody else, and you put the person in charge of sales, and you have differentiated their roles, the way we said you should create roles for the high performers, recognize their strengths, deploy them in the area of their strengths, what you would have is synergy. Because the person who can produce more is the one in charge of production, so you have boosted your production. The person who is good at sales is the person you have in charge of sales, so you have boosted your sales. The person good at management, inventory control, and all of that is the person that is in charge of all those administrative things. And so everybody is working in an area of core competence, and you have automatically snowballed your effect. You get more results, better results, by deploying people in the area of their strengths and helping them collaborate. So when they pass the buck, the one produces, passes to the person to sell, passes to the person to record, things run smoothly. And that's why you must always sit on top of your business and be involved in creating a structure and deploying your strengths to the areas you have created. This automatically means that you cannot let them hoard what they know. You cannot let them hoard how they know how to do it. The person in production cannot be in competition with the person in sales. They have to be supporting each other. So sometimes when we talk about creating synergy, making sure they are not working in silos, silos is separate. Everybody is not thinking, this is my business, I'm not interested in your own. When they are supporting themselves and collaborating, you might need to do a few more things to get them to do that. Some of that is getting them to think of each other as each other's support system. Getting them to realize that their departments are interdependent. You must also empower the people you delegate to. One of the most frustrating things in doing business is me negotiating with the person I meet in the shop and the person telling me, hold on, I want to call Oga. It is very frustrating. A lot of the time I just walk out because that call will not connect. MCA will not have problem. Airtel, they will now switch. Network will not go. Data will not finish on the third phone. And I'm wondering, how long do I have to? Let me just go to a shop where the person that can decide on the price is there. So when we're talking about delegation, when you have told somebody do this, give the person a range of power. Of course, there will be a cap because you are sitting on the business, but give the person a range of power that they can use to actually do the things you have asked them to do. Let them own the things you have delegated to them. Let them be responsible for the results they get. Let there be free flow of information. If they don't know what is going on, if the person at the back office does not know that the person in the front office has the power to give a 5% discount, there will be infighting inside the office. And then the discount that you have empowered them to give, the person that does not know, when people come to the storefront, they don't want to talk to the person that doesn't know because they know that that person will not do them well. You know, so it now becomes a political environment when one person will have more customers than one person because the person has knowledge that the other doesn't have. So let there be a free flow of information. That's why it's always advisable to create a platform where you can share the information and everybody gets to see it at the same time. Find people also who are utility players. They are very, very useful in your business. What do I mean by a utility player? Somebody that can switch departments seamlessly, such that the day the person in accounts does not show up, that person can, I know how it is done, get it done. Apart from free flow of information, there are some people that just have competencies in practically everything. In the legal department of the bank, I had a boss that was my nightmare for 1 year. And why was she my nightmare? She changed my department every 2 weeks. I was upset with her. I was so angry because I don't know, I'm feeling the department as soon as I settle and I know what they do, she will change my department again. And I started getting angry. Madam, what's the issue? After the space of 1 year, she now called me and said, do you now know that there's nothing you cannot do? It wasn't until then that I realized that I was the most difficult person to fire. Why? Because I'm the only person that can do what everybody does. So what she was creating was a utility staff that if anybody falls sick, can't show up, decides to resign, the person can fill in until we fill that space. So find somebody with that kind of competence that you can train to be a utility player. And when you find that person, as a matter of fact, that person is going to be the easiest replacement for you because the person knows everything. And then you would understand when we say you create a business that thrives in your absence, you have automatically raised a successor that can run that business when you are not there. You can actually sleep when you put the person in charge of your business. But this also comes directly from synergy and focusing on your high performance. But you cannot get this far unless you are thinking big, unless you are thinking global, unless you are thinking of serving a very large audience. And I think it's a sin to be in this room and not think big. Is it not? Yes, sir. So moving on, the very next thing is be ambitious. Like I said, it's a sin if you're in this room and you're not thinking big. So what is the massive ambition you have that is big enough to push you and to help you push other people? As you can see, that goldfish, it keeps moving from one bowl to another, to another, to a bigger bowl. So sometimes you might have to work on your exposure to know how big, how good you can get. If you have never seen something big, you will not know it can be done. There's a Yoruba proverb that says that if you have not reached the farm of somebody else's father, you will think your father's farm is the biggest. So sometimes you need to think about it, find out who else does what I do. How do they do it? How well are they doing it? If you have a hospital, for example, and your hospital is 10, 15 beds, go and visit the hospitals with 80 beds. How did they get there? How did they transition? Keep finding out the people that are in this line, in this industry, how are they doing it? And then after you have found out, what do? Something called creative imitation. Replicate what they do, but add extra. Because the minute there are several of us doing what we do, the extra is what makes the difference. If everybody is doing the same thing, why would we patronize you? And this is what is called differentiation in business. How are you different from the next person? What will I get from you that I won't get there? Using academic suites, which is where we are as an example, it's a home from home experience, a home away from home experience. So you are sure that when you're at academic suites, you will feel at home. And then guess what? Even when people are promising you a home away from home experience, we can assure you that whatever you get here is the most affordable price of what you are getting. Test it anywhere. Compare prices. You will get the best price here for that experience. And it is so bad that we will stand anyway to argue with you. Because what we do, we know we do. The quality you get, you will not get it anywhere else at that price. That is a differentiating factor. So, what is it about your business that can stand? Oh, please, who will translate? What is that thing about your business that you are so sure about, that you stand anywhere and boast that I am the only person that does it, that will give you this? Of course, it might be at that price because others who do it might charge more. But I am the only person that will do this for you at this price in this way. You have to find that factor about your business. Now, it is likely that you don't have that factor yet. And that is why the manager of the business is not the person that arranges the shop. The manager of the business, the CEO, is the person that does the thinking. Your work is thinking work, not footwork. That's why you need a team to do the footwork while you think on your business. So thinking on your business, It's something you need to do. What will I do differently? That means that there's nothing you can do. You cannot create a culture of excellence without innovation. You cannot create a culture of excellence without sitting down to think consistently that these customers I have gathered together, I need to wow them this month. The wow of last month has finished. They have enjoyed it. They are used to it. They now expect it. We need to add something else. So create what has not been created. Do for them what they will not get anywhere else. And then sustain the drive to keep creating something they've not had before. You'll be surprised. I worked in Skybank, and as at the time of my job interview in 2010, they had ATM machines that were receiving deposits. How many of us have ever seen that kind of ATM machine before? How many banks have it? This is 2024, 14 years after. How many banks can boast of having ATM machines that receive deposits? That means you will not interface with any staff. You will get there, you will put the cash in, and you will get a lot that you have paid into your account. 14 years after. Of course, that bank no longer exists. There is now Polaris, even the Polaris, God will help them. But you understand what I'm saying? They were leading in the area of information technology. That was enough to sell it to anybody that has a shop, that wants to do deposit at 6 p.m. Because you don't want anybody following you home from your shop to your house and slapping you and collecting the money. You don't want to lock it in the drawer of your office and come back the next day and see that your shop has burnt down. You could deposit at any time because it was a machine taking it. That is a differentiation factor that would sustain. As a matter of fact, it makes you appeal to a certain set of people. After a while, I saw they had loan packages. Now it's common. They had loan packages for association. They will enter a market and say, all of you come together. We will give you one loan. You'll be paying back small if you have cooperative. It just means that there are some people whose job it is to sit down and think and come up with these things. You have to make sure that you have that kind of team in your place of business. So how do you sustain inspiration and motivation? You'll be surprised that the things that sustain inspiration and motivation in your business are the little things. Do you people sing in the morning? Do you gather before you start anything and just start singing and being happy? Do you know that if you gather your staff in the morning to shout at them for not selling well the day before, the first customer is in trouble? Because they are facing